Welcome friends. This is the chapter of consignment which is part of paper number 1, Principles and Practice of Accounting. Now when you have understood the meaning of normal loss and abnormal loss, what you have understood? Let me summarize all. That in case the loss is a normal loss, the good units, that means the remaining units which are not lost, they will have to bear the whole cost, complete cost. But if the loss is abnormal loss, then that loss will not be borne only by the good units. It will be shared by lost units as well as good units. Both will share its burden. And therefore, the cost of good units will be lesser because they have to bear lesser burden this time. Okay? So let us understand this further with the help of an example. In this example, X consigns 500 units to Y, costing rupees 400 per unit at the cost price. So this is once again a very simple case in which the consignment has been made at the cost price itself. But the new point in this particular example is that 1/10 of the goods consigned are lost in the godown of consignee. So in the godown of consignee, 1/10 of the goods are lost, right? Okay. What happens further? Let us see. Out of the units consigned, 300 units are sold by Y at rupees 600 per unit. This is the same situation, and expenses are also the same. Okay. Now once again, let me make a change, the same change. What change? Let us assume that this amount of rupees 1000 is related to freight. This is related to freight, and so this is a non-recurring expense. Okay, so this is our assumption. Now what we have to calculate is the value of unsold stock, as well as we have to calculate the value of abnormal loss. So let us start. See friends, first of all, tell me what is the cost of goods consigned? What is the total cost of goods consigned? Total cost. The total cost of goods consigned will be 500 units are sent at rupees 400 per unit. That means 2 lakh rupees plus what will be added to it? Consignor's expenses rupees 4000, as you already know that consignor's expenses are added, plus consignee's non-recurring expenses, which are 1000 in our example. So total comes out to rupees what? Can you tell? Total is rupees 2,05,000. Okay. Now tell me, suppose this loss of 1/10 units, 1/10 of the goods which are lost, let us say this is a normal loss. Then what will happen? Let's see what will happen. Now friends, tell me, how many units were consigned? Units consigned, how many? Total units consigned in our case are 500 units, but we know that 1/10 of these units are lost. Lost units are 1/10, that means 50 units are lost. So we are left with only 450 units. Can we say that the 450 units are the good units and 50 units are the bad units? That means lost units. Yes, we can say. And we know that the normal loss case is just like the case of joint family, as I had told you in the previous example. That's why in this situation, the whole expense of rupees 2,05,000 will be borne by the good units. How many good units are there? 450. Now if 2,05,000 expense is to be borne by 450 good units only, then what will be the share per unit? Let us calculate. 2,05,000 divided by 450. That means rupees 455.55 rupees per unit is the amount that has to be borne by every good unit. And has the bad unit also to bear some loss? No, because the whole expense is borne already by the good units. Bad units need not bear any cost. Okay. Now when this is the amount per unit, then let us calculate the value of stock. How much stock is remaining? Tell me. How much stock is remaining? We know that out of 500 units consigned, as we can see in the question, 300 units are sold. So obviously, we are left with 200 units in the godown. So the stock is of 200 units. Let us calculate its value. Value of stock will be 200 units multiplied by rupees 455.55 per unit. That takes us to, if I multiply this, we get the value of stock at rupees 91,111. I am sorry, actually in this case, the stock is not of 200 units, rather we'll also have to deduct the units which are lost. So I had not taken this into account. If we take this into account, then we can say that out of 500 units that had been consigned, 300 units have been sold and 50 units have been lost. So how much is left in the stock? We are left with 150 units in the stock. Okay, so if we multiply 150 units with rupees 455.55, what we'll get is rupees 68,333 if I round it off. So this is the amount of stock. This is the value of stock. Okay. So this is the completion of first case. In the first case, we had the situation of normal loss. Now let us move on to the second situation, in which this time I assume that this loss is not a normal loss. This is an abnormal loss. Suppose this is an abnormal loss. What will happen this time? Once again, tell me what is the total cost of goods consigned? Total cost of goods consigned will be once again the same, 2,05,000. It will have the same breakup. Okay. Tell me, this time, this burden of rupees 2,05,000 will be borne by how many units? How many units will bear the burden? Will only the good units bear the burden? No. All the units will have to bear, because as I had already told you, this is just like the case of nuclear family, different families. So all of the units will have to bear the burden. So how much burden will every unit bear? Let's calculate. 2,05,000 divided by all the units. How many units are there in total? 500 units. So what is the amount per unit? 2,05,000 divided by 500. That gives us rupees 410 per unit. Okay. So this is the amount that has to be borne by all the units. And when I say all the units, that means they have to be borne by good units, 450. Now, before I write, let me tell that what is the stock that we are left with. We are left with the stock of 150 units. Am I right? So 150 units are the good units in our stock. And what are the lost units? We have lost 50 units. So to value the stock, we'll have to multiply the good units with the burden per unit. The burden per unit, as we have calculated, is rupees 410 per unit. If I multiply both these, then I get 61,500 as the value of my stock. 61,500. Similarly, if I have to value the abnormal loss, then how many units have I lost? 50 units I have lost. So the value of abnormal loss will be 50 units multiplied by 410, which will give us which will give us rupees 20,500. This way, I have calculated both the things. What I have calculated in this case, second case, what I have calculated two things. One is the value of stock. Value of stock is rupees 61,500. And secondly, I have calculated the value of abnormal loss. What is the value of abnormal loss? Rupees 20,500, right? So this is the final conclusion. So friends, in the next part we'll see how to pass the accounting entries of these losses. Now we'll see the accounting treatment of these two types of losses. Now, to begin with, if I tell the accounting treatment of normal loss, I will say that there is no particular accounting treatment because the normal losses are automatically treated. Why they are automatically treated? Because as we already know that they form part of the cost of good units automatically. So there is no need to account for them separately, right? So the normal losses are already settled. Now, as far as the abnormal losses are concerned, then I would say that we know that the total units that we have sent on consignment are written here. The total goods sent, the total value of goods sent is debited on the consignment account, right? As you already know. But we know that the abnormal losses are accounted for separately. They remain separate. They do not form part of the cost of good units. They remain separate. So what we have to do is that from the total value of goods sent, we have to deduct the value of abnormal losses, because we will say that already, although we had sent so many goods to the consignee, but now these many goods have been lost. So what we have to do is that we have to deduct the amount of abnormal loss from the total value of goods sent, right? How will we deduct it? By making an entry, by passing an entry on the credit side. So you can see that in the consignment account, on the credit side, abnormal loss will be entered. This way, the both will be neutralized in the sense that the abnormal losses will be automatically deducted from the total goods sent, right? Now for that, what entry will be passed? Let us see the specimen of consignment account. On the debit side, we had already entered two goods sent on consignment account, and to deduct from that, we'll place on the credit side, we'll pass an entry abnormal loss account debit to consignment account. So finally, I would say that the entry for abnormal loss will be, you must remember, abnormal loss account debit to consignment account. So if I continue with the last example, then I would say that the abnormal loss value was 20,600, as you can see at the bottom. So this entry will also be by 20,500 rupees, right? Okay. Now this abnormal loss has to be written off from somewhere. Now there can be three possibilities. Possibility number one, that the consignor is going to recover this abnormal loss from the insurance company. Suppose the insurance company has admitted its claim. In that case, this abnormal loss will be written off from that insurance company's account. So insurance company account will be debited and abnormal loss will be credited. In the second scenario, it may be possible that this abnormal loss is to be recovered from the consignee, because as per agreement he was liable for the abnormal loss. In that case, the consignee will be made the debtor, consignee account will be debited, and abnormal loss will be credited. And in the third case, if we are not going to recover this abnormal loss from anywhere. Then what we will do, we'll write off this whole amount from P&L account. So P&L account, profit and loss account, will be debited and abnormal loss account will be credited. So these can be the three possibilities. First entry will be fixed and the second writing of entry will depend upon the situation. Okay, so this is the end of all the types of treatments of normal and abnormal losses. Thank you very much, friends. Now we'll touch upon the next topic in the next part.